this is what you don't want, all right? Was what I see a lot on the text line from the last 24 hours. Is Bryce Eldridge the new Jonathan Kuminga?
Oh, God.
That is what we do not want to see here.
I legit almost tweeted that out last night. I was like, nah, we're not that crazy yet. I'll get the open ready, though.
We are.
No, 808. Instead of Kuminga watch, is it now Eldredge watch?
Bryce beef.
Again, like, I see more. Like, this sounds very Kuminga-ish from the 925.
Bryce binoculars.
858, Kuminga. People think this is Jonathan Kuminga 2.0, Joe. Is that too strong right now? A little bit?
Well, I do see the comparison.
What are the comparisons?
Well, raw upside and fans being told about how great the guy could be.
Yep.
And right now it just feels they're like kind of stymied in terms
Upper management
of
stymieing him. Not giving him the opportunities maybe to let him cook.
Yeah,
let Bryce cook.
A combination of things.
Do.
But can I just... I'm not trying to defend the Giants' thought process here. I'm just saying, can we acknowledge it is a little more complicated than we're making it? That's it. Am I one to bash the team when need be? Come on, guys. I yell and rant and rave and lose my mind about this team all the time, right? But let's think about this. Let's think about this with a deep breath. Just seriously.
All right.
We were all making the Raffy deal, whether we thought Bryce was the next coming or not. It was really difficult to find a middle-of-the-order left-handed power bat. Can we all acknowledge that?
Yes.
All right, so we were all making the Raffy deal, all right? No matter who was in the minor leagues, okay? So the Raffy deal, all right? Well, that complicates DH and first base in general for the next 7 to 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Shortstop. Adames was paid before Rafael Devers even came in. That's number one. And on some level, if you give a guy $200 million, you do got to kind of play him a lot. You're not going to sit him once a week.
No.
Probably at most once every 10 days.
Sure.
That's at most.
Sure.
All right? So he's going to play the majority of the time. Well, the same thing could be said for Chapman, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, you're not going to bench him once a week. You're going to play him at minimum 8 out of 9, 9 out of 10 days, right?
Yes.
All right. So you do the math here. You're only going to miss probably 15 to 20 games. That's at most. That's at most if they're struggling. So they're going to be in there the majority of the time. Then I think about Arise at second base because that's where Schmidt would have played, right? They had an open spot. Well, Arise has been so good, you can ill afford to have him sit. Yeah. He's been infinitely better over the bulk of the beginning of the year than Adames and Chapman. So second base, which maybe was a position going into the season, I was more open to Schmidt being more of a platooner there. Well, I kind of have taken the platoon thing off the table because Arise has been so good. Then I go to Schmidt, who really we're talking about Schmidt as much as we're talking about Eldredge.
Correct. Because Schmidt's play right now has made things more difficult for the management. If he had just struggled and not been great, then it would have been easy to put Bryce at DH.
Schmidt's emergence has made this a very complicated situation. Correct. It would have been complicated had Schmidt not been in the mix.
Correct. And I do think that's a good thing because you want your young guys to start producing. And I love that Casey Schmidt's been balling.
It's a great thing. This is a great thing. Is it great? The contracts? No. I'm talking about Schmidt's emergence is a great thing.
Yes.
Schmidt's been so good this year. Every one of us is going, well, how can we put him in the field in left or somewhere else, shortstop, third base, first base, DH, so that he's bad as there every day? So now I get to the Bryce Eldridge component of this. Well, Joe, why bring him up if you're not going to play him every single day? Well, you brought him up because he's better than Will Brennan, Encarnacion, whoever else you might have on that bench, right? That makes sense.
Sure.
This is not about having the best AAA team. This is about having the best possible Major League Baseball team. And if Bryce is pinch hitting late in the game, I have more faith than Encarnacion and Will Brennan, just as two examples. But I also recognize, this isn't Pat Spencer to your Kuminga, thing. This is someone that you've invested a lot in and you believe to be a pillar of your organization moving forward.
Yeah.
Problem is that I have these other pillars that I paid who aren't performing, and now I have this young guy who kind of came out of nowhere in Casey Schmidt, and he's almost kind of jumped the pecking order.
So is Casey Schmidt Pajemski? Not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Let's just
I know.
Remove
I know you don't want to do that. I know you don't want to do that. I know.
I don't want to go because that invites so many other things. That being said, I know this is about Bryce and how to get him in the lineup, and I don't want him to sit, and none of us wants him to sit. And he hasn't hit the ball enough to be like, yeah, his bat needs to be in there every day like Casey Schmidt.
Yeah.
But to me, this is equally about Casey Schmidt versus Ramos in left, because these are positions that he might play. Casey Schmidt versus Adames at short. Casey Schmidt versus Chapman at third. Casey Schmidt versus Arise at second base. And what I'm going is that Schmidt's been so good that I have to put him in the lineup either at first base, at DH, maybe possibly in left field, and that's a long shot, maybe possibly at shortstop, maybe possibly at third base, and maybe possibly at second base. They have a decision to make. And I believe the reason why Bryce has been sitting the last couple of days is that decision has probably already been made by management regarding what they're going to do. And what I mean by what they're going to do is long term. I think someone's out the door. Could it be the left fielder? I don't know. Could it be the shortstop? Man, that feels unlikely. Could it be the third baseman? Also feels a little unlikely. Could it be Arise? He's on a one-year deal. I don't want to lose him. He's the guy I actually want to bring back next year.
Right.
Could it be Casey Schmidt? I don't want to lose him either.
No.
Team control, inexpensive. I want to see what the best years of him are. I don't even think he's even close to reaching his prime.
I mean, are they in a position right now to get rid of their good players?
No.
Yeah.
Could it be Bryce Eldridge, Joe? And maybe they don't want to signal to the rest of the league, dropping him back down to AAA. Oh, they've lost faith, and he loses a little bit of value. I don't know.
That is a possibility that we're not really talking about a lot. Like maybe they just want to kind of just show him off like the shiny new toy. Hey, guys, come get him. Come get him. We'll trade him.
I think we would all agree. Forget the word malpractice. Forget the word negligence. Forget the word incompetent. This is not optimal for Bryce's development, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you.
But it's also about Casey. And that's where I'm really stuck on this one. Because I think as much as it's about Bryce, it's also about Casey and him forcing his way into the lineup. What we really want is we want Bryce to impact the plate and all of his at-bats in the same way Casey has, where it's like, I can't envision a lineup where he's not in it, because that's how good he's been. And I think that Casey's earned that, and I love that about him. A trade has to be imminent here, Joe. A trade in the next 3 to 15 days, either trading away Adames, trading away Chapman, trading away Arise. I mean, maybe it's Ramos, maybe it's Jung-Hoo Lee, and you're moving Ramos over. I don't know. Maybe it's Bryce. I don't feel like it's Devers. I wouldn't trade Devers.
Right.
But a trade has to be imminent, because I don't think you're negligent. I don't think you're incompetent. I don't think that you don't know what you're doing. I think that there's a logjam, and I think it's really complicated, and I think they're trying to juggle all these plates, and I think it's really easy to sit here and I am the first to scream and yell when it is appropriate. I don't think this right now warrants that just yet. Now, talk to me in a week. Talk to me in 2 weeks. If we're having similar issues, then yeah, I think something needs to happen. But God, Posey can't be incompetent. Because if he is, we're in real trouble.
I don't think they are incompetent. I don't think this is as crazy as everyone's making it out to be with the Bryce.
Am I being more reasonable than you thought?
No, I think you are, but I don't know why we're so angry. It'd be one thing
because we're losing.
Yes,
because we're losing.
But it'd also be one thing if Bryce was tearing the cover off the ball and he still wasn't getting any playing time. Has he looked more overmatched at the plate than you would think?
Yeah,
right?
Bats have been up and down.
Exactly.
That's what I would say.
If he was seeing the ball well and getting a bunch of walks and extra base contact, and he had the one home run, that was great. It'd be one thing that he wasn't playing, but they're feeling him out right now. They don't know what they have in Bryce Eldridge yet. I don't know what they have in Bryce Eldridge. He's their highly touted prospect. They want him to be great. They want him to succeed. Do I wish they treated him like they're treating Connor Griffin and all those other prospects you see up in Sacramento?
But they don't have Adames at short.
No, they don't have the money allocated for these other guys, which makes it complicated.
Up the spot.
Absolutely, it makes it more complicated. But you know what? To your point, you should have known that when you brought him up. You should have known that if you're the group think that is Vitello, Manassian, and Posey.
I don't want them to treat him the way they would treat, Matos.
Yes.
Hey, you play one day, you sit for 4 or 5 games.
Because it's not the same.
No. And if you believe in him the way that I thought you believed in him, then you wanted him to get treated as such. But he also has to earn it, Joe.
See, this is the 209's thinking, and I'm kind of thinking how he is, but I don't think we should be viewing him this way going forward.
I get the outrage, though.
209 saying, I think it's as simple as Bryce's bat is not good enough. That's why it's a platoon thing. We're overthinking it. But you need him to play. No. He's saying that we're over. People. No, he's saying 209 or she, excuse me, that they're platooning him because his bat's not that good. Well, if you're platooning him and he's your number one prospect at this point, send him back down. Like that's how I would feel, because then he's clearly not ready for this level if you're platooning him immediately. And that way, and if that's really the case, 209, then you're hurting his value. If you're saying this is our top prospect and we're willing to platoon him going forward, that's not how you succeed or get better at this level. And if anything, I think that shakes his confidence even more and it makes it worse. And you know what? We have experience with this in the Bay and are going to go to cross-sport analogy. These guys need to play. Look at Trey Lance on line one. Now, Trey was a little different because he got hurt more. But what did we always say about Trey? He needs the reps. Hell, one of our hosts here, Bonte Hill, was saying, I think the guy needs to go to Canada because he just needs to play football. I don't care that it's the Canadian League. He doesn't have the reps to get better. And if he's on the bench, this is what we're getting back to the crux of why you're frustrated, Joe, is we just want to see this guy at the plate. And we're going to see him today, and hopefully we see him tomorrow and the next day. But if you keep yinning and yanging and yanking him out of the lineup, he's not going to get better. He's just not. I'm sorry.
No, it's a fair point. In his first 8 days in the bigs, how many at-bats for Connor Griffin?
His first 8 games in the bigs?
8 days in the bigs.
8 days. For 20?
He had 26 at-bats.
26 at-bats.
So he started, came off the bench. They had a day off, started.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? Now, what do you think in his first 26 at-bats, what do you think he did? Bryce right now, just for those that...
He struggled.
Bryce is 2 for 14 right now.
Probably like some like 3 or 4 for...
4 for 26.
There you go.
To start his career.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You got to give these younger guys times to settle in, and you got to give them opportunities to get comfortable.
Now, they did give him a fat contract, so a
vote of confidence.
They gave him the vote of confidence that said, dude, you're paid, you're good. We understand that you might struggle, Connor. We're willing to work through that with you. Don't worry. I mean, we believe in your future. Has Bryce Eldridge gotten that vote of confidence from Buster Posey and Tony Vitello? I don't see it. Maybe they've told him that behind the scenes. I mean, this is Tony Vitello just a week ago, Joe, when asked if Eldredge will play every day.
Me getting to know you guys, that kind of puts you in a box where it's like, well, every day is every day. But I think he's got to be given room for error. I mean, Will Brennan is a good example. Koss is a good example. A little bit circumstantial, to be honest with you, of us hunting down wins or searching for runs. Those guys have gotten pinched out a little bit. And I bring up Will Brennan as an example because to do what he was asked to do is just get an at-bat here and there. I mean, you got to be a pro and you got to accept the challenge, but you know and I know it's not that easy. So the one thing we don't want to do with Bryce, who's a younger player, is just sporadically give him at-bats and expect him to produce every single time in order to get rewarded with more playing time. I think there's got to be a longer leash there if that's appropriate.
I agree. And I think that's why people are frustrated. When you hear that, you automatically assume he's going to be in the lineup for day after day after day. But as we've talked about, it's hard to find the spot for him right now because he doesn't have a utility skill set like a Casey Schmidt where he can play multiple positions. If he did, this would be a lot easier. Let's say, Joe, if he was an outfielder in this case, that makes so much easier.
But you knew that when you were bringing him up.
Exactly.
Right? You knew that when you were building your
Correct.
team. And that's why I think the Schmidt thing is the most fascinating aspect because him being so good and forcing his way into the lineup has really thrown a monkey in the wrench.
Yeah.
I want to get back to one thing, and I don't want to get into like Kuminga, but
I like how you phrased that. I've never heard monkey in the wrench before. I like how you used that. Continue. That was good. I've never heard that I said it that way. Yeah.
I think the Kuminga thing is perplexing for a lot of Warrior fans.
Correct.
But on one level, it's like, hey, wait a minute. Like, we won a championship with Andrew Wiggins. Like, hey, guys, we won multiple championships with Draymond Green. Won multiple championships with Steph Curry. So, like, you know, this other guy taking a backseat to them, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's an emotional connectivity for those players, and Wiggins less so, but you get where I'm going, than like a guy on the bench like JK.
And there's no emotional connection on this Giants team right now,
Well,
right?
that's where I'm going.
Correct.
So, like, Chapman and Adames and Devers, you know, these guys are, to a lot of people, they're free agent, you know, not necessarily mercenaries, because that's not fair to them.
But they're not homegrown. They're not.
No, but there's no invested stock. And I've tried to explain this. You know, like, I like Susan. She does a great job covering the team. She was on the show yesterday talking to Willard and Dibbs about what's going on. And Susan thinks that the Bay Area sports fan is, like, enamored with Matt Chapman because he was in A and now he's a Giant. It's like, Giants fan, and I'm just telling you, I'm a Giants fan. I don't care. Like, and I don't mean this in a negative way to A's fans. I just don't care if you played for the A's or not.
Well, no,
it doesn't matter.
That has nothing. It didn't play for your favorite team.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
Why would it matter?
No, just because you played in the Bay Area does not mean that I necessarily, I'm talking about for the A's, like, oh, I like you more now.
Well, no, it's like when Juan Soto played for the Yankees. You think Mets fans cared about that?
That's my point.
No.
So like, when people are, like, very cold about this whole, like, just trade him away to move away. There's literally no emotional connection to Chapman and Adames and Devers because we won nothing with them.
Correct.
We haven't gone through any winning times, and times are really lean right now. And so I think it's more, like, ferocious, the feedback from fans on why they're so angry about Bryce, because Bryce is one of ours. We drafted him. We developed him. And we're like, get these other guys out of here. You're not Draymond Green or Steph Curry or one of these guys that we've won with. Like, I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt. So I kind of get the fan reaction, but I'm here to say I'm not with them just right yet. I think this is more complicated than we're admitting, and I think, you know, Bryce has left a little to be desired. In general, he's left the door open just enough to not play him every single day. I get it. I want him to play every day, but I also think you got to earn it a little. Like, I'm kind of caught up in the middle, and maybe I'm contradicting myself.